Some Sage, how are we doing today? I'm going to talk about music. Music was a big, and still is a big part of my life. I remember my parents had an awful record collection. They had a cowboy record and Scottish bagpipes and Lauren Green and all these other records. I found records my mom had earlier, that 48, big, thick ones. And they're, the early 40s, Glenn Miller and all them. And then didn't really much radio. I know my parents had one. I mean, I know there was music on every once in a while. My parents got me a earplug AM radio, and I remember going to sleep with that. And I put it in my ear, and I'd go to sleep. And later on in the night, I guess my mom or dad would, well, most probably my mom, would take it out. And but I did that, and then when we moved to New Jersey, I found this station, AM radio, Cousin Brucey, and he was a riot. He was fast talking, and the music was fast. And but one of the first songs I really remember listening to or hearing was getting on the bus when I lived in Fayetteville, New York, and it was Elvis Presley. And I heard that, and I went, wow, this sounds good. It was a lot better than Scottish bagpipes or cowboy songs. And that really turned me on to music. And then once we moved to New Jersey, his cousin Brucey, AM radio, he was playing all the hits. This is early 60s to 63. So there was all kinds of music coming on in the radio at that time. I remember the Four Seasons, I mean, Hermits, all that stuff was coming out. The Beatles, remember watching the Beatles on TV that Sunday night. You could hardly hear the music, but they were the Beatles. And I remember after that, the next thing and next following months, kids were wearing Beatles shoes and Beatle wigs, and there was all kinds of Beatle mania. And then we moved, after New Jersey moved to Pennsylvania, and I could still get ABC, Cousin Brucey, so I still listened to him. And he had a wild opening, and he was a really fast talker. I guess that's what AM radio was at the time. But it was good. I enjoyed listening to the music. And once we moved to Virginia, I couldn't get ABC anymore, but I found another station, WHFS in Maryland. They were a progressive kind of station, considered at the time, I guess, freeform, where the DJ would, pick his own music. He could call, get requests. It was really cool, and that's where I really got turned on to a lot of music. I remember listening to Led Zeppelin, and that was like, whoa, that really opened my eyes to all kinds of more music. And this station, HFS, would play all that kind of music that you really didn't hear the top 40 stuff, but you heard the other stuff, other music. And it was great. And depending on the DJ, they'd play jazz or rock. Sometimes they played bluegrass. And it was all really good. And never really heard bluegrass. And my dad would listen to, I guess, hardline country back then. And it was a lot different than bluegrass. And got really enjoyed the bluegrass. I went to a bluegrass festival. I'll talk about sometime. And then there was this club, the Birchmere, in Alexandria, Virginia, and they always had really good bluegrass people. And it's a local place. It wasn't, wasn't big, but it was a great place to go and listen to really good music. And there was a cellar door in Georgetown, which so John Prine and Bonnie Raitt, and again, great music. And all through the 70s and 80s until I moved to Florida in 91. HFS was the station I listened to. I mean, there was a couple other rock stations. If you're driving and you got a commercial, you can go to another one. But most of the time, I listened to WHFS, and it really opened my eyes to music. Along the way, I listened to the bluegrass, and got into the classical. I wanted to touch all genres, and I turned my children on to the music when they were growing up. I'd have them listen to a variety, a little bit of classical, but mostly rock. And it was good. Music has been such a big part of my life. Listen to it all day. When I get up in the morning, I turn on Alexa, picks up a station, I say, and listen to music all day until I go to bed. And it's in the background, so I can always have music on. So, what are your thoughts on music? Peace out.